Welcome back to our channel. My name's P-Tay.
I'm Sam.
And today we have a
Story time!
Okay, so this is the story of our honeymoon horror story that was kind of a horror story but isn't really a horror story, but we're going to call it a horror story just for entertainment reasons. But anyways, so we got married on October 19th, 2019. So this time last year. About a year ago, which is why we're making this video.
Yeah.
But we were planning for our wedding and we're trying to decide where we wanted to go for our honeymoon.
This was a few months before our wedding, so it was fairly in advance.
Yes. I was looking into places in the United States, but then all of a sudden, one of my friends told me that there were $400 flights to Barcelona. And I was like, are you kidding me? Literally. I was like, are you kidding me? This is going to be the time of our lives. I am going to be a freaking cheetah girl strutting like I mean it.
You gotta strut like you mean it. Free your mind.
Anyways, you know what I'm saying. I call Sam and I'm like, Sam, I found us $400 tickets to Barcelona. He didn't really believe me, and so he was like, tell me this website, make sure it's a legitimate airline.
Not gonna get all of our information stolen.
So I give him all the information. We book our flights. We are so excited. At the end of our wedding, we leave from Indianapolis. So we got married in Indianapolis. We drove to Chicago where our flight was gonna leave. We get to Chicago. We're in the airport, super excited. Again, I'm about to be a cheetah girl. Who wouldn't be excited? So anyways, we board the plane. Sam and I are sitting by each other?
No.
Separate seats. So Sam and I did it that on the flight from...
You had to pay extra.
Yes, so on a flight from Chicago to Philadelphia,
beside each other.
we were going to sit apart from each other. But then the long flight that was like 13 hours?
Philadelphia to Barcelona, yeah, about 13 hours.
About 13 hours we were going to sit together. So anyways, we're on the flight and all of a sudden...
I had my phone. I was playing around with it, just seeing what I could get on internet-wise, because they don't have internet. I wasn't going to pay for the internet, so I was just on the internet. Apparently, on American Airlines, the only website you can access is the American Airlines website. And so, naturally, I browse the American Airlines website. They have a section in the top left or right corner for travel alerts. I was like, that's interesting. So I clicked on it. And we're probably about 30 minutes until we land in Philadelphia. So I click on this travel alerts. I'm like, where's this stuff happening?
Probably not anywhere we're going.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Like, it just probably not going to affect me. Never has, never will.
Yep. So
Wrong.
we thought.
So I click in the top left or right corner. And the first one was, it was like the Bahamas. There was a hurricane going on. So travel was restricted there. Mm-hmm. Second one. So there's two. Barcelona for civil unrest. And I saw it, I looked at it, probably looked around, processed what I just saw, and I was baffled. I was thinking in my mind, is there two Barcelonas in the world? Is there another city named Barcelona that would be having civil unrest? Because no way the city in Spain is having civil unrest.
And keep in mind, as I said earlier, we are sitting like apart from each other on this flight. So I'm on the other side and singing, you gotta strut like you mean
Yeah,
it.
she's over there singing Cheetah Girls in her mind, and I'm just like, read this, I'm like, thinking, knowing I have to break the news to P-Tay that we're gonna have to figure something out, because Barcelona is not gonna be the Barcelona that the Cheetah Girls landed. And so I'm just processing how I'm gonna say this. We land
in Philadelphia,
and P-Tay's just like la di da di da, and I'm just walking, and I'm just like, okay, so I gotta tell you something.
And this was me. What?
Oh my gosh,
what are you gonna tell me?
What are you gonna tell me?
Other than I'm about to be a cheetah girl.
What sandwiches we're gonna get at the airport? What kind of food? And so I tell her, and she took it a little hard. My first instinct was, we can't go to Barcelona because I'm not going to take my wife of less than 24 hours to a place where there is an international travel advisory for civil unrest, because that's just stupid.
And my thought was, and this is how you can see our personalities, my thought was, we can just fly into Barcelona and then fly to a different country.
Long story short, I called the American Airlines number to essentially verify if we get a refund. So apparently, once you check in, and we had already started the process to Barcelona.
So we had booked our round trip flight.
Yeah.
So we had Chicago to Philadelphia, Philadelphia to Barcelona.
Yeah.
Then we had another flight from Barcelona to Helsinki, and then
Finland.
Helsinki, Finland, back to the United States.
Back to Chicago.
Back to Chicago. So that was going to be our round trip flight.
I called and asked, hey, is there any way we can get a refund? No, there wasn't, because we had already started the process. So that was that. Either we stopped, we just stayed in Philadelphia and got stranded and took a flight back, or we went. And so we decided to go, which was stressful. And I'm like, what is going on? Why is this my life? We get on the plane. I'm a nervous wreck. I think it's 9 hours. So it's 9 hours of just over the ocean, dark, it's a night, and it's just like scary. Very quick backstory. The protests were in response to a bunch of Catalan politicians being jailed for what the Catalans saw as unjust reasons. I do not know the exact situation. So we're landing. We have no clue what's going on, and we're just waltzing on in there and just praying, truly praying that the Lord will just make a way, that we will be safe and
enjoy our honeymoon.
We arrived safely, no protesters in the airport, which is such a blessing, and everything seems fine. Everything just seems very fine in Barcelona. But we realized that we were not going to be able to stay there. I made that executive decision that we're not staying in Barcelona.
Yeah. So we decided we're not going to be staying in Barcelona. We need to find somewhere else to go, because that was kind of like the compromise we made. We get to the airport and we decide we want to go to London. On to London we go. So we book a flight from Barcelona to London, and then we were supposed to come back from London on Saturday from London to Barcelona. From Barcelona, we were going to catch...
To make our American Airlines
Yes.
flight.
We booked this flight. We head to London, very excited. We have a grand time for the... How many days were there? 6 days?
I think we were 5. It was 5.
For the 5 days we're in London. It was great. It's pretty much what you picture for a picturesque honeymoon. In London, it was great. Then we came to the end of our trip when we had to leave and head back to Barcelona.
So we left really early on Saturday morning, probably about 5 o'clock London time. And we got there at like 7:45. We had 2 hours to spare. We were Gucci. We were good to go.
Yeah.
Because, again, just to reiterate, our flight from London Gatwick to Barcelona left at 9:45 and was going to get to Barcelona because I believe there's a time addition on the way. So it was going to get to Barcelona around 12 o'clock, 12 p.m. Barcelona time. So, and then our Barcelona flight left at 8:45 Barcelona time. So we had like 8-9 hours to spare if everything went to plan.
Buffer room.
Time is getting by. It's approaching 9:45
when our flight's supposed to leave,
and everything's fine. Everybody's there in the gate to board, and everything's going fine.
In fact, there's other flights going to Barcelona. Those are going fine as well. And then all of a sudden, we hear our flight number, and this flight is delayed.
Due to plane issues.
Due to plane issues or whatever.
Mechanical issues, basically.
So Sam and I are like, okay,
that's fine. We got time to
spare. We got nothing but time. They said it was going to be like 45 minutes maybe. Then, all of a sudden, they delay it another time. And they give us little stipends. And they're like, in fact, your flight's been delayed.
Little meal tickets.
Go get a meal. At this point, Sam and I look at each other and we're like, they would not be giving us a stipend to go out and get food if this is not going to take a heck of a long time. We got to second guess our idea of how we're going to get to Barcelona.
I called American Airlines to see what the possibility would be of essentially us rescheduling our flight that was supposed to leave Barcelona to Helsinki, Finland to Chicago, our return flight, what the possibility of canceling that, because we were very concerned that we were not going to make it to Barcelona in time. Essentially, we paid dirt cheap for those tickets. The retail apparently for those tickets was about $2,500 a piece. We paid $400 a piece. So we had essentially together have $400 against a $5,000 flight if we rescheduled. And I was like...
So we find Vueling Airline, and there is one last flight that would get us to Barcelona in time by the time we're trying to book these tickets. So we are tag teaming. We're running through this airport trying to find baggage claim to take out our luggage. I'm on my phone putting in our passport information, literally like running and like typing at the same time. Sam's lugging our 500 pounds of luggage like a pack mule, and we're just like, we just gotta survive this. So we were gonna get there at 7 and then have an hour and 45 before our flight with the new flight that we booked to Barcelona. So we thought. So we get there, and all of a sudden we realize that flight is also delayed.
But thankfully it's not. That flight is coming in.
Yes.
And it's not a delayment because of a plane failure or like a mechanical issue. It was a little different, but it was still like time was straight up ticking. I remember straight like telling Plense, like we were praying this whole time, just Lord, your will be done. Lord, please get us home.
Yes.
We just felt so helpless, and especially when that delay hit, we
might be stuck in Barcelona once we get there because our flight will be gone.
Oh yeah, and we were just saying, Lord, if this doesn't work out, it wasn't the Lord's will. We weren't. Yeah. We were just saying. We were just if this doesn't happen, it's not the Lord's will for us to leave on time. And we were just. It was just like one thing after another. It's like, okay, this is what it is. Lord, your plan is good, and we're going to trust in it, even if it kind of stinks at the time.
Praise the Lord. The flight finally leaves. We land. We get off the plane. We have to go through customs for us to get our luggage and then find our terminal. We're like in midway through this line to get through customs. And we just talked to all these people and we're like, guys.
And this guy is slow.
Like,
if you've ever been international travel, you have to stamp it. It goes slow. He reviews it. Some people are quick. This guy was slow. And so it was going to take forever.
Finally, we're like, guys, to everyone in front of us in line, do you mind if we please cut you guys? Because we have a flight that's
super
supposed
contrary to our nature.
Yes.
We're just so like, we don't want to like interfere
with people.
on others.
Like, we just want to kind of mind our own business. But in that moment, we were like,
we meant business.
We meant business. And then there's one person that's like outspoken and they're like, yes, you can go. That's fine. Yes, you can go. And then after that, everyone else is like, sure, why not? And so we're like, that is a yes. We take that as a yes. And so we go to the front of the line. They check us through. And at this point, go to baggage claim, get our baggage out, and we are booking it. And we're just like trying to figure out Terminal B.
And mind you, we are in Spain. We're in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Everybody speaks Spanish. We, despite in other videos me saying numero dos, I don't know Spanish. That's all just that's a facade.
We are running around and we're like, Terminal B. We need to find Terminal B. We're trying to find American Airlines.
And we were in
Terminal B.
We were in A.
And we don't know. And everyone's like pointing. They're like, I don't know. So finally we're running and we see this bus driver. And apparently they're buses that can take you around the airport. Sam and I don't know how big this airport is.
From one terminal to the next. Yeah.
From one terminal to the next. So the bus driver comes up and we're like, oh, we need to get to Terminal B. Could you please tell us where Terminal B is? You work here. He has to know. So he's like, yeah, I'll take you to Terminal B.
At this point where we're getting on the bus, it's probably about 8:20.
At that point, we're like, okay, we just have to trust him that he knows where Terminal B is, because at this point, no one else is understanding us and we have to get there. We have to get there. So we get on this bus and he starts driving. He drives for about a mile. And in that moment, Sam and I realize that if we would not have gotten on that bus, we wouldn't have made that flight. Because it turns out Barcelona Airport has two big terminals. Terminal A, which is here. Terminal B, that's a mile away. Yeah. And Sam and I need to get from Terminal A to Terminal B. We get to Terminal B and we're running.
So we go to the little station, the American Airlines, and it's pretty late in Barcelona, and so everything's closing down. And so we get to the guy, the American Airlines
and
baggage guy.
We have two bags of luggage.
Bags, which pro tip from our scary times, don't take big check-in bags international. It's just a hassle. So we get to this guy and we give the baggage. We're like, okay, we need to check. He's like, okay, fine. This is the last one. I don't have any more time. I got to leave. Okay, last one. So we give him the bags. He says, okay, it's $50 or 50 euros, whatever.
And we're like, thank you. Oh my goodness. We hand over our card. He swipes it. He said, no go. We said, no go. What do you mean, no go? Swipe it again. So he swipes it again. It keeps on not working.
We give him another card, I think. Not necessarily knowing he didn't have money. We're like, okay, let's just try it. He says, okay, it worked. He put everything back. And mind you, also, there's people that come like a few minutes after us. He's like, no, get away.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any more people. And we're like,
as our cards are not working, we're like, we're the reason why you can't do more people.
he put it through, and we later learned we didn't have any money to put on those. He just put those through, which was such a blessing. Like, looking, it's like, that's just totally God's working, because we had no control, and he did that through, and it's like, no way, that's just a common occurrence. So
we go through security, and we are running, literally sweating, drenched in sweat from our grand adventure of running around the Barcelona airport. We make it on this plane, and we are just dripping with sweat, and everyone's just kind of staring at us.
There's like, because we're going to Finland, mind you, and there's like this whole Finnish youth soccer team we're sitting beside, and we're just like, Dad, we made it. Long story short, we made it. I had never been so happy to be on a plane in my life. I like flying, but it was just such a trip.
And so our flight was from Barcelona to Finland, like Sam said. We had a 12-hour layaway in Finland. Did we care? Layover. Did we care? No. We were just happy we had made that flight. Literally, we were sleeping on chairs in the airport, and we were like, thank you, Lord, that I can actually sleep.
Also, the Helsinki airport is amazing.
Fire.
It's just a cool airport. So it was a good place to spend 12 hours.
Yeah.
Just another side note, my brother, when he heard that we made it, because my dad was keeping everybody in the loop, we were praying for us, and he's like, when we made it to Finland, he made the joke, he said, well, I guess they made it to the finish line. But yeah, so we made it back. It was we love the Amazing Race, and that was probably the most amazing race thing we'll ever get to in our lives.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was a terrible experience, but it was
like
the hard parts. The hard parts were terrible.
The hard parts were terrible, but I will say that's one of those things where it's like, man, first of all, going into marriage, after that experience, I was like, Sam and I can do anything together with the Lord's help, of course, because we are feeble beings. But after that, I was like, yeah, sign us up for the Amazing Race. Yeah. Sign us up. We would kill it. But anyways, so thanks, guys, for listening to our crazy story. Hopefully you're able to follow along with our first story time. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what video you'd like us to film next, what videos in the past you have liked, and we can recreate things of the like. So, see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.